But as always, we start off with the UFC. We had UFC 268 on the weekend.
You guys want to start from the undercard and move forward?
We'll make our way forward. Yeah, let's do that. And there was a few crazy KOs on the undercard. I think the main one was the big boys.
Yeah. Check out the Esky fucking Instagram. Mikey's been active this week. He made a video. And
This one.
and we saw Chris Barnett. It's pretty unoften that you see guys carrying a little bit extra bouteille, let's be honest.
Yeah. He is fighting heavyweight.
Yeah, he's got some room.
I'm aware. Do you normally see heavyweights do fucking spinning wheel kicks?
Yeah. And then
And front flips to fucking celebrate?
Yeah.
Blow up the Death Star?
Yeah.
No, you do not. Shout out to Chris Barnett. Unbelievable knockout. And speaking of Alex Pereira, he's a scary motherfucker. Brazilian. Whoo, baby. That knee, it went straight through. They look scary. Flying knee, fucking finish his opponent.
Well, Alex has an incredible kickboxing record.
He does. He's 4-1 now, I believe, in MMA.
Yes.
And a multitude of kickboxing fights.
So the last knockout of Israel Adesanya was from
kickboxing.
and was from Alex.
Yes.
So
I think he's beat him twice in kickboxing.
yes. So that's the history there, of course, in the same division. Hopefully won't fast track Alex. He needs at least a couple more fights. I know Israel's just recently been booked against Bobby Knuckles against Robert Whittaker for just January, I think it is. Maybe not December. January, I think it is for their rematch.
Sure, Monks will take a look at that.
But either way, there's potentially another contender working their way into the middleweight division. Did well enough as a guy coming with kickboxing background with the wrestling and the takedowns, but as soon as it was standing, it showed his pedigree with a great, like you said, great flying knee, set him up and just killed him. That was a great finish, which then led into
the main card
and probably the best fight we've seen in a long time. Justin Gaethje taking on Michael Chandler.
It's the best
round war.
Best fight I've seen this year.
Oh, easy. Yeah, and it goes back. Takes you back to previous, gunfights, essentially, is what this is. They just stood in front of each other and just wailed.
Slung.
First round, very much, I think we give to Michael, to Chandler. With he landed very well, had Justin wobbled. Maybe he emptied his gas tank a little too much. And then, of course, Justin worked his way in the second and third. But they just threw continuously, just stood in front of each other and went to war. And Justin did get the decision on the cards and wasn't as beat up as Michael Chandler was by the end of the fight. But he, just showed Gage's kind of pedigree and kind of where he's changed as well. Highlight, he's the highlight is his nickname. Used to getting into scraps and going for wild stuff. And getting finished, unexpectedly. And this, a bit more calculated, picked his time and keep progressing. Don't know how Chandler got up from that uppercut, which sat him down. That was a huge punch.
Tell you what, he's a tough fuck.
Oh, big time.
No questioning either of these guys' toughness. I do want to question Michael Chandler's fight IQ, his intelligence. He kept dropping his gloves and just letting Gaethje.
I don't know whether they got to the point where it was just like it's a show. I'm just.
It seemed like it seemed like that. I've never seen a guy drop his guard and just welcome him and just eat him
and just go to town and wail. So,
unbelievable fight, and very, very smart by Dana and the UFC guys to put this as the first fight of the main card. We were kind of questioning it, like the fights coming up.
This could be a main event on some of the other
exactly
on a fight night or some other pay per views.
But I guess the thinking was we're at Madison Square Garden. Let's make sure there's bums in seats.
They had Canelo's card going on at the exact same time,
which Dana was watching.
Yeah, well, not through this fight, but of course
through
Rose's fight. But it just showed when that kicked off. They had 4 fights on their card. The crowd didn't fill in until Canelo was coming out, essentially, whereas we had a full crowd ready to go for the start of the UFC event. So, good kind of setup and, again, different worlds, different stars, as you will. But it was excellent to see they put on, these two for this 3-rounder to start off.
Where do we go from here? Gaethje get the title?
shot. Yeah, the fight for the belt. I believe so. Because who's Oliveira booked for Dustin Poirier? He'll get the winner of that, I reckon.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. So if we talk about Chandler, though, interesting, he came out and said, the welterweights, they were 170. 2 days afterwards, they checked their weights. Michael Chandler was 191 pounds 2 days after this fight.
Joking.
Yeah, after the fight.
He looked thick. He did look
He's
thick.
thick, but
190?
Yeah, he said he's 191. He was heavier than both the guys that contested the welterweight title at the end of this card. So there's chat. Him and McGregor at 170 could be the go. Which for both of them, that's not a bad option. It's a fun fight. It's fun. They'll stand up. Chandler could probably out wrestle McGregor if he really wants to, but if he takes the same game plan as he did with Justin, that's an electric fight that'll sell well and people will watch.
I didn't look into it too much, but I think McGregor was trying to call out Masvidal today on social media. So,
yeah, well, Masvidal just pulled out of his fight. Well, I've got that at the end there. He's just pulled out from Edwards. He gave him the 3 pieces of soda and hasn't been able to put a fight together. So he's out of that pay-per-view of UFC 269 that's coming up in a couple of weeks as well, which is unfortunate.
I reckon Masvidal will kill McGregor.
Kind
of going up.
170, yeah, probably.
Kind of going up.
Yeah.
I like to see it. They don't make it happen. I'm sure you're watching.
Yeah. And so Edwards was there without a dance partner for that one currently as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Shane Burgos defeated Billy Quarantillo, I believe. 29-28, I believe. Interesting. Again, we spoke about it before that this would go after Gaethje and Chandler, but Burgos making his way up in that division. And then moving forward, Marlon Vera defeated Frankie Edgar. He was really channeling Anderson Silva. There's been a few memes taken out of this one. Front kick, it landed clean on Frankie Edgar's chin. Obviously, no disrespect to Frankie. He's been in the fight game a long time.
Yeah, well, it showed even at, 135, like the power difference. Every time he touched Frankie, you just were worried about it. And the front kick, I'm not sure if you boys have seen the actually, I think Monk sent it to us. The stopped photo, though, of the front kick, of his face. Like, it's one of the worst photos.
It looks like the Easter Island head. Here we go. We're going to watch it live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure this is great listening.
Yeah.
I'll try to articulate as best as I'm watching.
Yeah.
This.
Explain it. What does it look like?
It looks like a chimps, like a chimpanzee.
Yeah, he looks like one of. I can't remember. He's an alien off like Star Wars or some shit. There's an alien that looks like that has that face that looks more like a beak.
It looks like he's
together,
aged. It looks like he's aged
incredibly
50 years.
Yeah,
he looks like he's on death's door.
Yeah, and I don't know.
He doesn't look like Frankie Edgar.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
You couldn't pick who that is.
Do you think that picture's doctored? Do you think that's doctored?
That's 100% the real picture.
Can you guarantee that?
Yes.
Yes.
Quite simply, yes.
It doesn't look real. It doesn't look real.
Well, it shows like the impact of the force and the force rippling through his face, essentially.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans of the Esky, look it up. Marlon Vera tags Frankie Edgar. It does not look like Frankie Edgar. It looks like the fucking Easter Island man.
Yeah, and
Is that something we post?
Yeah, it's... Yeah. It'd be interesting...
Put it in the chat.
I don't know why Frankie keeps getting killers like Vera's coming...
You know who he looks like? He looks like the fucking monkey, like the orangutans off the Jungle Book right there. You know, King Louis? King Louis?
A little bit.
It doesn't look real. It doesn't look real, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway, back to the fight game. I don't know why Frankie keeps taking on these killers like an up-and-comer like Vera in this. I guess he's still ranked 8, so he's still an elite fighter. But
He wants that cash.
Yeah, but he's 40+ now. Maybe it's time. Frankie's time's done. And even at 135, he's got the technique. He just doesn't have the power to compete with these guys, and he can't keep going to a weight for divisions. He's at the bottom essentially now. They don't really run much 1-2-5s anymore. I think they might have even killed that division by all accounts. So, yeah.
All shit took aside.
I think Frankie's done. He's just come off. Well, it was Sandhagen his last one before that. He's had two huge knockouts. I don't think he needs to keep putting himself through that.
And nothing left to prove Frankie Edgar a star of the octagon. Mate, I think retire, enjoy it, commentate, train, head coach. Yeah. He can be around the sport and he can definitely contribute. Like he's Frankie Edgar. So then we get to the 2 championship fights. First off, we had Thug Rose taking on Zhang Wei Li. I think it's Zhang Wei Li, sorry. Ended up in a split decision. Zhang did start off pretty well in the start of this fight. She won those first 2.
Yeah, first 2.
By my count.
Yeah, and it was pretty competitive overall fight. You could see that Zhang probably had more power and, of course, more size, definitely. But then Rose was, say, not picking her apart, but landing more jabs, more of the technical shots, which was keeping her in this. But then she kind of hit another gear in the championship rounds. Definitely won round 4 and 5.
Easily.
And, a couple of those, probably 2 and 3, maybe a little bit more debatable of the rounds. So she, of course, picked up one of those. So it was a close fight. For me, as a long-term UFC fan, I still have the old adage, you got to beat the champion to be the champion.
Nothing else fair.
No, a lot of people say, hey, if you win the rounds, you might as well win. But in this, I don't, especially when we got championship rounds, Rose went to another level, outstruck her, was landing more. I think she was a deserved winner and wins this. As we talked about in this division, there's no one else. Like, it's these 2 and then no one. So...
the devil's argument is Carla Esposada, is it?
Yeah.
To get another shot, but I think trilogy. I think trilogy.
Yeah, but do you run that back, or do you try to find something else fun for Rose? Because I don't think going up and fighting Valentino is a good idea.
No,
let's not do that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, she's got even more power and size than Zhang does, so let's not do that.
No, that's straw. I think that's straw weight. Just run it back.
Yeah.
That's what makes sense.
They'll fight for the next decade until someone else comes
along. But the thing is as well, as Zhang has lost 2, I think a lot of the conventional thought would be you have to give someone another chance.
Another chance, yeah.
And then Zhang can go back and maybe get a win and then earn her way back to come back at it.
Maybe Rose sits for a minute and Zhang goes fights Carla.
Yep. I don't mind
maybe
that.
that's the direction. If she wins again, it's like, well, there's no one else. So like, I'm the gatekeeper here for now. You got to run it back against me. So, hey, and another excellent fight. Another, this one lost a lot closer than the first one, of course, was the early knockout.
You get tagged on the chin in the first round, of course. It's all shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, big time. So.
But hats off to Zhang. She was. I think I texted you guys. Watching the first 2 rounds, I was like, Rose is getting fucking bashed up here, guys. Like those first 2 rounds was Zhang all day, every day. And then that's testament to Thug Rose, her cardio, to come back and dominate those last few rounds.
Championship will.
Yeah, exactly right.
So then we get to the last fight with Usman taking on Covington. This ended up being the war, like the first one was. They went the distance in this one. What was quite interesting, I think, from about the 3rd round, Usman dominated the first half of this fight easily, like really landing on Kobe. Kobe was worried about the power. I think he got dropped at least once in this. Probably, I think it was the 2nd round he got dropped, but then he recovered from that. Then the 4th and 5th round, he just started outlanding Usman, and Usman was wobbled a couple times as well.
Unusual to see that.
Yeah, well, he took some big shots against Burns and almost lost that first round against Burns as well. So I'm not sure if Usman's got the greatest chin in the world, but Kobe definitely's got a really good chin and came back in this one. Potentially won some of those later rounds, but they did give the overall decision to Usman, which I think was fair. Looking at their work and the canvas they had painted on each other, Kobe had definitely been beaten up a little bit in this one. So Usman for mine. So
the question I wanted to ask you guys is: Usman the best pound for pound fighter in the UFC at the moment?
Current active fighter, potentially.
I think ranked he is. Is that a
Yeah.
Is that a shout to John Jones?
Yeah, potentially. There's already chat, like, if you look at the welterweight division.
Where do you go? Where do you go from here? In
there's
welterweight?
probably not a great fight there, of course. Leon Edwards is probably the main one, but he can't get. He needs like a fight to push him into that Usman conversation. Masvidal would have been that for him. If not, there's the chat about, well, why don't you go take on your Nigerian brother and become champ. He's probably got enough body size to put on the mass required to be able to do that.
The height is a concern.
Yeah, he's 6'2", but Israel, of course, being 6'4", is a different beast. But at least he can come into that comparable than if he was 5'11" going up there. So
Sure.
Or 6 foot like Kobe is.
Is Usman versus Wonderboy a chance? Usman versus Vicente Luque a chance?
Nah, they're still a couple of fights away. Edwards is the big one. He's the one on the biggest fight streak, I think, at the moment in the welterweight division. But like I say, he's not a huge name. He can't really get a good fight. He just beat Nate or Nick. No, he just beat Nick Diaz.
Where he got rocked in that 5th round as well.
Yeah, exactly. And a fight he dominated through to that last round. Nate potentially could jump into this spot to replace Masvidal, but that doesn't really help his title contention conversation. He needs to beat like a Masvidal or Kobe to get into that conversation, I think. So it's unfortunate he's Masvidal's pulled out of this one. So, yeah. So the Usman maybe sit back. I think he's fought 3 times this year already, so maybe take a rest. Hope the welterweight can sort itself out a little bit and then get a challenger to come through.
This weekend we've got Max Holloway taking on Yair Rodriguez. It's just a fight night.
Fight night for this one, but
anyone on the undercard from memory?
Ben Rothwell, from the heavyweights, probably the biggest name I think on that card. I couldn't really notice anyone else, but Holloway, the big story, featherweight, to push his name back into that conversation. Rodriguez as well. Monks, can you get their rankings? Are they like 2 and 3 or 3 and 4? They're up there, and with Volk just knocking off
winner of this goes straight back to Volk.
Could very well do Holloway for the trilogy against Volk.
I think the people want to see it. The Holloway fans think that Holloway was robbed in that first one. I think the second one, obviously, it was close, but I think Volk had him covered. But yeah, obviously Holloway fans, they're nipping at the bud to get another shot at Volk. But we can't assume that Max gets it done here against Yair.
No, and Rodriguez is another up-and-comer in the division. Is a very tough fight. I think Holloway needs 150 strikes landed to go past 3,000, I think, in the UFC, or the fastest to 3,000, which is it's just crazy. We talked about the most significant strikes in the fight. The top 4 are all got Holloway in it.
Yep.
So he does like to land with frequency, so he'd probably get that number in the first round by all accounts. What are they ranked, Monks? Did you find me a ranking?
Yeah. So Holloway's ranked 1 behind champ Volkanovski. Then we've got Brian Ortega and then, Rodriguez at number 3.
Yeah. Winner of this gets Volk.
Yeah. And then going back to the pound per pound. So Usman is 1. Volk is 2.
Volk, Australia, let's fucking go. Wollongong.
That's it. Then we've got Adesanya.
Let's go to Wollongong tonight. I'll start.
Well, we've got Israel as well, his Kiwi brother. So.
Yep, he's at Ngannou, then Poirier, Jones, and then Holloway's in at 7 as well. So Holloway's still up there for pound per pound.
Where's Shevchenko?
Or Nunes.
Or is that only males?
That's the males.
Yeah, they split them out. So Nunes and Shevchenko will be 1 and 2 for the women.
Yes. And then Nunes is number 3. Yeah.
So I think that finishes us for UFC.
That'll wrap up the UFC.
Yeah.
There was another big fight on the weekend.
Yes, so there's another card that happened at the exact time.
We
and
alluded to it before.
Just as important to Dana White as
It
UFC.
seems.
Yeah.
Poor Rose and Zhang Wei Li.
Yeah.
Dana White watching Canelo versus Plant. But what happened, boys? Did you guys catch a whole lot?
Yeah, well, I watched this fight as well. I had both going. I'm, just as good as Dana White watching both fights at the same time.
I'm more loyal than Dana. I was enthralled in the UFC.
Well, it's Canelo. Like outside of the heavyweights, you tune in for Canelo. He is the pound for pound best boxer in the world, and he solidified this in this. It was the last belt he needed to collect in the super middleweight division.
Unified.
It's unified,
Very
undisputed.
unusual. Very unusual in boxing these days.
Well, I think there's actually 4 currently. So.
Well, 4 out of 13,000 divisions.
Yes, exactly. So there's a couple. I think Terence Crawford's another one that's got all the belts in his division. So, yeah, impressive to do it. Plant, I think, was undefeated coming into this. Took a very defensive outside style. Tried to pick Canelo away with the jab, but Canelo just weighed him down
Picked him apart.
Yeah, picked him apart. And in the 11th, really got this. I think he only dropped. I think he dropped round 1 and 3, but outside of that entire, like when I say dropped that, it was just the judges preferred Plant in those instances, but he won all the other rounds. So he was on his way to a convincing win, but then got one knockdown of Plant, and then went after him after that and finished him off with some big shots. Got a beautiful hook uppercut. He's a very, very good fighter. So
Can anyone beat him?
I don't know. Triple G was the chat for a while, but they beat him twice. So I don't think
even if they run that back a third time, no disrespect, Triple G, but I think Canelo's got that covered.
Yeah, he's got this weight division completely covered. So it's whether he wants to go up or down. Because I think he's actually come up to this division from what he used to fight at quite a while ago. Like I think he's progressed a couple of divisions up as he's gotten a bit older.
He's good for boxing.
Oh, big time! Like outside of the heavyweights, you want to get interested in any of the other divisions. Super middleweight's a good division to really get after because it's the normal. I'm going to say normal size kind of blokes. It's your 6 foot kind of size. And that kind of weight. So it's more something that we can see ourselves or the regular man fighting versus like a heavyweight is my comparison.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where's the 6'6" fucking 4-inch nose boys at?
Yeah, but how much do you weigh? 90 kilos?
96.
96. So you'll be, I think, light heavyweight.
Me and let's go. Light heavyweight. I'll go up on division. Tyson Fury, let's go.
He's 7 foot, bro. So 6'9".
Oh, 6'9". Come on. Man, him on the piss. Jeez, what could go wrong?
But hey, it cements Canelo.
Yeah, unbelievable. He brings in the casual, and I am a casual boxing fan, but intrigues me.
Yeah, definitely.